Okay, here is yet another deep, stop you in your tracks kind of moment, courtesy of our 7-year-old daughter, Michaela. A couple nights ago, we were hanging out in the living room. She was reading a book. She's a very avid reader, and I'm not exactly sure what the book was, but had something to do with the creation and different stuff like that in it. She's on the couch reading. I don't even remember what I was doing. Tim and Holden were playing Wii, and I got up to go to the bathroom. Well, I got halfway to the bathroom and I heard her go, "Why doesn't God just get rid of sin?" And I heard Tim go, "Oh, and he's very spiritually in tune. However, probably not like his strongest point to try to break that stuff down to her. So I decided to hold it, turned around, came right back. And so I started talking to her and I just sat down with her, and the first thing I said was, we cannot explain everything, and that's called faith. And we will never understand everything. But when we make a decision to accept Christ, it's a decision, it's a commitment. It does anything to do with how we feel. It's not only as long as I can understand what's going on, because He is God and we are not. And that's faith. And that is what we build our lives on. So we're never going to understand everything. But then I went on to tell her, I'm going to try to explain this a little bit, because God did get rid of sin. And she kind of looked at me funny. And I said, so in the beginning, God and man were like this. In the garden, they walked together. There was nothing between them. And then when Adam and Eve ate of the tree that they couldn't, sin came between them. And because God is perfect, He is not able to be with sin, because it's totally against everything that He is. He can't be joined with sin because He is perfect. Now the fact is, why was the tree there in the first place, right? Well, think of it this way, and I told this to Michaela. If I forced you to love me and I didn't give you a choice, really wouldn't mean that much. But if you had a choice, which you do, and you still choose to obey me and love me, that means so much. And that was the same thing with God. He wanted true, genuine love from us. He wants our true hearts. And He could have created robots that walk around praising Him all day and really have no other choice. But He didn't do that because He wanted real love. So He put that tree there to give them that choice. So they were like this. But then when they chose to disobey, sin came between them. So then they were like this. So then there had to be something to fill that gap, something perfect that could reach into both God and man. Here comes Jesus. And Jesus stepped out of heaven and came down to earth. He never sinned. He lived a perfect life. So He was right there with God. But He bridged that gap, taking our sins on Him. And now that Jesus is between us, He put us back with God again. And that's called reconciliation. We're reconciled to God. We're made perfect with Him again. Because when God looks at us, He now sees Jesus between us. And He looks through Jesus, who is perfect, to us. So He sees us as perfect now. And because Jesus came, He took that sin away. And all we do is accept what He did, and we can be back with God again. And that was God's great plan. So He did take that sin away. All we have to do is accept that. And Jesus is the one who stands in that gap for us. So it gives me chills even thinking about it. The Bible's awesome. The good news is awesome. And we can't ever explain it all. But I think that really helped her.